just when you think you got enough tools and then you don't need any more. Wrong. People, welcome back to yet another one. Not today, well, we're not going to be looking at this Milwaukee drill. This one, I just need to like see what the problem is. I got it for cheap. The guy said there's like a malfunction with the tool. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it was working before, now it ain't. So the light comes on and it doesn't work. Being the non-fuel, and you know, it's going to be old school DC motor. I mean, it could be the trigger, it could be, you know, the brushes are worn. No, we're not going to be looking at diagnostic tools. I mean, the Snap-on guy came in today, and you know, I had a little chat with him about like diagnostic tools. Not necessarily diagnostic tools. Sorry, to correct myself, oscilloscopes. Because I want to invest in an oscilloscope. So I'm like between Snap-on and then Pico. Picoscopes, I know they're like brilliant, but obviously it's the price. Same with Snap-on is the price as well. I mean, you know, there's no arguing that. But yeah, I was looking more for like the Vantage Pro, which is kind of like an old school Snap-on one. It's 2-channel scope, but you know, it's discontinued. And then these are kind of like the new ones that, you know, they're like, for the present, I would say, the Apollo, the Zeus, and the Titan. I mean, you know, the Jesus things cost a fortune. I don't know if I'm going to go with this, you know, but that being the matter, we're not going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about something that there's kind of like two like sides, I would say. There's like the people that know how to use them, and then the people that don't. So we're going to be talking about multimeters. Now, as funny as it may that seem, there's, like I mentioned before, in the field there's two types of people. There's people that know the usage and the importance of a multimeter, and you know, it helps like diagnosing different types of like things, circuits and all of that on cars nowadays, especially with all the electronics and crap and solenoids and blah blah blah. And then there's the people that don't know how to use a multimeter or don't even bother with a multimeter, which I kind of like used to be the guy. I'll be honest, I mean, this is my first multimeter, kind of like from 3 years ago, whatever, 2 years ago. You know, El Cheapo one, £5 from eBay, you know, top of the range if you ask me. Nah, just kidding. I mean, this one, you know, in terms of accuracy and then kind of like readings and quality, it just, you know, £5, that's what you get, mate. I mean, yeah, what can you do with it? I don't know. Like, you can do some basic stuff, but I'll be second guessing the readings of this. I mean, it doesn't work now. I mean, I even took the battery off because it ain't worth it. You know, these ain't even the original Teslas. The original Teslas that came with it, they kind of like fell apart, and then kind of like I got these aftermarket ones, and then, you know, fuck it. So moving on with kind of like this crappy one, which I wouldn't recommend. Would come in two. I mean, there's different brands. You know, you can, like I mentioned, Snap-on, like over there, they make good multimeters. Different other, you know, manufacturers. But me, I went with kind of like a well-known manufacturer, which I kind of like. It was always been in the back of my head, which is gonna be Fluke. I don't know. It's just the yellow like thing on this just stands out, and then, you know, for me, it always been like multimeter. I know Fluke's a good one, so that's why I went with them. This is Motor 101. So we'll be looking at this, which is kind of like my upgrade from, you know, El Cheapo over here. Kind of like put that to the side. This one, and then the new boy in the box, which is going to be the Fluke 115, pardon me. Which, as you can see, is not in the box, but it's over here. Brand spanking new. Love this thing. You know, it just looks cool, but it is functional as well. It just doesn't just, you know, I mean, it does a lot of things. It doesn't just look cool. Anyway, kind of like just talking about the upgrade in, you know, in the Fluke 101. I chose this mainly because I was in a budget before, and then for this, you know, if you're like 60, if you look at something for 50, 60 pounds, you know, the Fluke 101, budget wise, you know, it's pretty damn good, I'll be honest. You know, like I mentioned, cheap, easy to use, and then being a Fluke, you know, is reliable. Although some people like real, like, you know, some people might be like a little bit like flimsy about this, and then some, you know, me, I've been using it all this time, didn't have any problems with it. The thing is solid. In terms of some, you know, specs, obviously being a Fluke, you know what you're paying for. You got your off switch over here. I don't know if you can see that, probably. So you got your off switch. You got volts, AC, DC, auto range, which I like that. Where there's, you know, the crappy one, I had to like adjust it. I like the auto range. It never messed me up once. So, you know, I'm really happy with that one. Millivolts, you know, if you're with me talking millivolts, resistance, and then if you press the yellow one, you go to continuity. Pardon me. Continuity, I think this one is for transistors, if I recall correct. This kind of like symbol over there. And then if you want to measure hertz, that's a different story. That's down to you. It's got the hold button. So for instance, if you want to hold the reading, so like let's say you were measuring something that was off of like the peak, and then you want to, you know, keep that measurement, you can press the hold. Nice feature. So you can, you know, press the hold and then it will save the feature. It did come with like this little kind of like a little pockety thing. I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, you can use it to kind of like flip it and then use it kind of like as a little resting thing. So kind of like have it like that. I mean, I use it mostly, the magnet on the side, I put it on the hood or underneath the car, whatever I'm testing. And then it hangs like flat so I can see like, you know, what readings and all of that. I love this thing, real good. Terms of test leads, you know, I would say standard good quality. I mean, they are very long. I don't know, maybe like 4 feet. I mean, you know, they are long. You know, good points on here. I don't have the caps with me. I need to find the caps. But yeah, nice, decent thick wire. You know, real happy with that. Like I don't know if I mentioned this. This is a Cat 3 multimeter, so it goes up to 600 volts. Although, I mean, you're going to be working on cars, it's a 12 volt system, maybe like trucks, 24 volt system, you know. I don't know if you're going to go any higher than that. I mean, you know, I don't know, maybe like, you know, hybrids and then, you know, whatever, like Teslas and all of that, but that's a different story. But yeah, as for automotive, like purposes, standard, real good, no problem. Some people like are not really happy, which I kind of like notice it, but doesn't really bother me, is the probes they plug in from underneath, whereas like the 115 they plug in from on top. So I don't know, like me, I didn't have any problems with it, not, you know, any major problems, but some people don't like that one. I mean, personal preference really. Another downside to this, it doesn't have a backlight. Sometimes, you know, if you're in a dark spot and then, you know, you got your readings or whatever, you know, if it might be too dark, it would be nice if you had the backlight. It doesn't have. Is it a killer? I mean, not necessarily. You can put a light next to it or something like that. You know, that's not a big issue for me. But the main thing that made me to jump from this to the Fluke 115 is this one unfortunately doesn't measure amps. Amps, I mean, you know, are you really use it on a daily basis? No. Will there come a time where you're gonna use it and you're gonna need it? Yes. So that's why I've upgraded to the 115. Not just that, I mean, this one has got some other features as well, but the main reason is the amps. Something I want to talk about as well later on. But yeah, if you're looking for a basic cheap one, I would say even starter one, although it doesn't measure amps. For a starter one, don't go for like something like this. I'd rather, you know, people get like a decent one. Ideally, I would say this, but I will come to this in a second. But if you're really on a budget, £50–60, I mean, you know, voltage and resistance and continuity is pretty much all you're gonna need. Amps you're gonna need as well, but like I mentioned, if you're really tight budget, what can you do? You can go with the Fluke 101. You can get many jobs done with this. Love this thing, but you know, it has its limitations to a point. Moving on to the Fluke 115. You know, brand spanking new, but yeah, not the point. Looking at some features of this that the 101 doesn't have. Obviously it's bigger in size, so I mean I like this one being small. This one obviously being bigger, you can do more things with it. Main thing, well, not main thing, first thing, it's got a backlight compared to your kind of like the 101. So I don't know if you can see that. So you got the backlight in case you need it. Cat 3 again, 600 volts, although you're not going to be going 600 volts if you're going to be working on cars, but you never know. Again, you know, volts, AC, DC, millivolts, resistance, continuity check, transistors, whatever you're going to be looking at, and then amps. This one I want to talk about, amps. This one goes up to 20 amps, which I think is plenty enough for cars. I don't know if you're going to be using it for any more than that. I mean, I haven't come across anything more than 20 amps they're going to be using on a car. I don't know. Maybe I will, but, you know, never know. Obviously being bigger in size. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the little kind of like pockety thing that this one comes. I mean, you can get it, but obviously that's extra. You know, obviously same rubber mold as the, no, this one is plastic. So, I mean, you know, it's still solid, trust me. This one does have like an external rubber mold, but, you know, I don't have any problem, any doubts in, you know, regards of reliability. You know, they're solid. Amps, the main feature that, you know, made me to, you know, buy this, which, you know, price-wise compared to the Fluke 101, this is, I bought this like 100, I think 150 pounds. You know, they're ranging from 150, you know, 170, whatever. I mean, depends where you get it from. But yeah, the amps is the important one I want to talk about today, and that's regarding test lights. I mean, you can use the amps to measure current in whatever other situation, but one thing that I learned with test lights is you can not only use them just to check fuses, but you can use them to activate different circuits. You know, if used the correct way, you can activate different circuits and then check different circuits on a car. I mean, I've been learning all this from Scanner Danner. I mean, I don't get paid to say this, but Scanner Danner, real cool dude. Content is awesome. I learned so many things from him. I mean, I would highly recommend subscribe to the guy. You know, go to the premium channel and subscribe. But, you know, it's down to you if you want to check him out. But yeah, it's one of the things that he did mention is, you know, different test lights. This is an incandescent test light, so it's a regular bulb. It's not an LED. So different test lights, they got, you know, different current. They kind of like carry through. So, you know, in order to test what, you know, maximum current goes in these, so you don't damage, like, you know, the circuit while you're testing it, is to do an amp through like a, you know, an amp measurement over here. But yeah, there's different, that's like another procedure. Usually the incandescent test lights are about 200 millivolts, like he mentioned. LEDs, they're like way less. They're like, I don't know, like 10, 15 millivolts, which, you know, you can't really activate anything on them. Maybe some circuits you can, but, you know, this one is going to be your go-to if you ask me. So yeah, being 150 British pounds, if you ask me, you know, depending where you buy it from. You know, it's got the amp measurement, amp measurements. You know, like I mentioned, 20 amps, DC, AC, whatever you want to use it. Test leads, real nice quality. Obviously, they got the caps because I haven't taken them off. They got these kind of like, you know, the probes. They got these little. I mean, you got the pointy thing where you're going to be using it, and then they got this kind of like spring thing. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe that's better. So you can see here in the middle, you kind of like have like a, I don't know, like a spring tension clip. So, you know, if you like stick it in some way, it stays in there. I don't know, maybe there's like adapter crocodile clips on here. I mean, I do want to find out if I can like purchase like adapters for these or anything like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, if you're starting out as a mechanic and you want to get one multimeter that's pretty much going to do all the jobs that you are going to need, you know, Fluke, 115. You know, the models 115, 117, depending on what you want to get. Me, I went with 115 because I think it's enough. I will go with this one. It is costly if you thinking about it. £150 for a multimeter. You're thinking what? But you know, good tools, you buy them once. Oh, cheaper tools, you buy them, they break, you buy them again. So you know, you buy once, you cry once. You buy 100 times, you always cry. So yeah, it's down to you what you want to really do. Pretty much that was the video, guys, you know, in terms of multimeters, and then you know that the importance of amps in, you know, measuring your test slides, and then see you know, seeing how much millivolts they are, so you can, you know, diagnose, you know, quick way of diagnosing circuits, whether they work or not. Because basically you know, when you're using a test slide to trigger circuits, you being the computer. So you can activate circuits without the computer. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's on a different story. I mean, if you want to learn more about using test light to test circuits, highly recommend follow Scanner Dano. The guy is awesome. Again, I don't get paid by this or anything of that nature. I just legitimately think the guy makes real good content. That was the video, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If any of you do have like different multimeters, and then have, you know, or even have this Fluke, you know, 101, 115, or even a cheaper one, drop a comment down below, you know, what your experience has been with the Flukes, and some, you know, crappy ones. You know, probably they ain't gonna be good experience with these, but anyway, yeah, drop a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. As always, all comments are appreciated. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't, just give me a thumbs down, tell me why, so I can improve. And I'll be seeing all of you in the next one.